All right, good morning, boys and girls. I'm going to be giving you a quick little lesson here on division. I'm going to show you two different strategies of how we divide, trying to help you be more successful on your classwork, assessments, and ultimately EOG. Shout out Miss Barco. So looking at this equation right here, I've got 872 and I'm dividing it by 6. Now I like to visualize what's actually happening in my problem. So let's say that this is candy, and let's say that we're putting the candy in bags. Okay, so I'm taking 872 pieces and I'm going to now split that into 6 different bags. So that just helps you visualize what's actually happening. So visualize lots of candy like on a table, and then you've got 6 different bags and you're putting the candy in the bags, and how much is going to go in each bag. So my answer is going to be how many pieces each. All right, so I'm going to start with the number that I'm splitting, which is going to be 872. We're going to put that nice and big. We are going to box around that. And we're going to split into 3 sections. We have 3 digits into 3 sections. And then we are splitting it into 6 groups. So that's going to go on the outside. Now, I like to put a little multiplication sign right here. You might say, well, wait, we're not multiplying. But remember, the opposite of division is multiplication, so I can check my work very easily by multiplying. Now, here's the key to this strategy. Whatever I am splitting this into, I need to skip count by, okay? So I want you to skip count by whatever we are dividing by. So we've got our dividend here, our divisor, okay? We're gonna be skip counting by our divisor. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna start to skip count. So I'm gonna start at 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and 54. And I can stop at 9 skip counts because I'm never gonna pick a number that's higher than 9, okay? So looking at these, these are my skip counts. This was skip count 1, 2 skip counts, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, okay? And that's going to be important that I know that based on what I'm looking for here in my problem, okay? So the first thing I'm going to focus on is just the 8. I want you to look at the 8 and focus on the 800s. I want you to come over here and figure out which of these skip counts is the closest to 8 without going over. It must be closest without going over. So let's look and see. So 0, kind of close. 6, that's really close. 12 goes over, so it can't be this one. Okay, so I have to then pick the one that's closest, which is 6. And I'm gonna put that 6 right underneath the 8, okay? Now, I'm gonna put how many skip counts it was on the top. So this was 1 skip count, okay? Now, my next step in this is to figure out what was left over after I put the 6 into it. So I need to then subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. If we don't know, we can put 8, take away 6, and have 2 left over. And so that is the whole strategy of this. I'm just going to do that over and over again until I get to the very end of the problem. So I'm going to take these leftovers that were here, so these 200 leftovers, and I'm going to draw an arrow and put them in front of my tens place digit to make 27. Okay? Now, I'm only focused on this right here, which is just the 27. I don't need this anymore. I only need 27. And remember, really important that I'm shifting my leftovers over here. All right, come back over here to my skip counts and figure out what is closest without going over. So let's see. 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. That goes over. And if it even helps, you can put a little like X here saying like, hey, that's too much. I'm gonna pick this one. So I'm gonna put my 24, which is what my skip counts gave me, underneath. And I'm gonna put how many skip counts it was up top. So that was 4 skip counts, 6, 12, 18, 24. 4 skip counts. Okay, same process, subtract. 7 minus 4. 2 minus 2, nothing. All right, do you remember what we do next? We're gonna take these leftovers and shift them over. So we're gonna take these leftovers and shift them over, and we always put that in front of the digit. Okay, now I'm focused on this part right here, my 32. And now I'm gonna do the same thing all over again. So look over here at your skip counts once again. Oh, 36 is too much. Remember, we can't go over, even if it's only 1 over. So even if this was 33 and it was so close but 1 over, we still cannot pick it. So now I'm gonna pick this one right here, which was 30. So 30, which is 5 skip counts, subtract 2 left over. Now, where do I put this 2? There's no other numbers to shift it into, so I'm at the end of my problem, but whatever is left over here is now going to be the remainder. So I'm still going to shift it, and that's going to be the remainder. Now, some problems won't have a remainder, and that's great, but some do have a remainder. Then this is telling me that I can put 145 pieces in each bag and have 2 pieces left over. So my answer is 145 with 2 pieces left over, okay? 2 pieces for you to eat. Now, please be careful, because a lot of people with this strategy, a misconception is they think that this is the answer down here, okay? This is not the answer. The answer is the skip counts of the number of skip counts that we picked for each of our boxes, okay? Now, how could I check this? Glad you asked. I could take my answer and now multiply it by 6. So I could come over here and do 145 times 6. Okay, this would give me 30. 24 plus 3 is 27. That would give me 870. But wait, I then have to add these last 2 pieces here. And this should equal what I started with. If it does, you did it correctly. So you only have to ask your teacher if you're right or wrong, because if you check your work, you know you're gonna be correct, okay? All right, let me show you one other strategy that could work for you. Maybe you are not really into the skip counts, or maybe even subtraction is challenging. I'm gonna show you another way. And as I was teaching my kids this year, this way just kind of came to me. Take some of the principles of the other things and kind of makes it happen. Okay, let's do 428 divided by, let's do 7, okay? All right, once again, visualize the problem. So maybe this is Takis, and this is Friends. So how many Takis, each? There's that keyword right there, each. How many are they each going to get, okay? All right, for this one, I'm gonna set it up a little bit differently. I'm gonna put my 428 and my 7 on the outside like I did before. And this time it looks a little bit different, okay? So my skip counts, now I'm gonna use nice numbers. I'm gonna do the ones that we all know. We all know our 1s, we all know our 2s, and we all know our 5s, okay? So watch this. I'm gonna come over here and do 7 times 1 equals 7. We all know that, okay? 7 times 10. We're gonna add a 0 to make 70. We can all do that, right? 7 times 1, add a 0. And then 7 times 100 equals 700, okay? We all know how to do those. Boom, we've got our little skip counts or little multiplication here. All right, let's do the 2s. We should know our 2s pretty well too. So 7 times 2 7 times 20. And we're gonna have those two that are right there, okay? And then our 5s, 7 times 5, once again, skip count by 5 if you're not sure, 35. And 7 times 50, add that 0, okay? Now, here's what we're going to do. We are going to take our number here, and we are going to look at which of these number choices makes the most sense to use. And I'm gonna shift it over because I didn't make myself enough space. Taking up too much of my board here. So let's do that again. 7, 428. So which of these would you pick? Well, we know that this isn't gonna work, that's gonna be over. So which of these choices do you think makes the most sense, that's the closest? Well, for me, I'm gonna pick this one right here because that's the closest number that I see. So I'm gonna do 50 on top, and I'm gonna take away 350. Okay, 8 minus 0. All right, I can't do this. If I have 2, I can't take away 5, so I have to borrow and add 10. And I now get 78, okay? Now, what other choices should I pick if this now is my new number? So I did all of this. What number now is closest to 78? Well, I'm gonna pick this one, 10. I'm running out of space again, but I get 8 left over. Okay, now which one is closest to 8? Well, 7 times 1. I'll put 1. Take away 7, that gives me 1 left over. Now, I don't see anything that's closest to 1. My lowest number here is 7, so once I get below that lowest number, that then becomes my remainder. So this will be my remainder of 1. And all you now have to do is add up the numbers that you picked. So 50 plus 10 is 60, plus 1 is 61, with 1 left over. So each of your friends would get 61 Takis, and there'd be 1 left over for someone else or for you to eat. Okay, so this strategy is really important because it just uses the powers of 10 and the 1s, the 2s, and the 5s. Okay, helps you pick which one would be correct. All right, hope this helps. If you need more assistance and more help, Ms. Barco will reach out, and I'm more than happy to give more help and more videos.